Hi there, we're taking another look at the Nikon D300 that's basically been available for the last couple of weeks in the United States and probably hitting the foreign shores in drips and drabs. Rather than go over all the detailed features, which will be available online to almost anybody, I'm going to explain why the Nikon D300 is absolutely the best DX format camera you can buy today. Tomorrow it might be a Canon 40D or some other camera, but for the moment, this new Nikon D300 is the cat's pajamas, besting every other DX format camera in feature set and image quality, and it's basically no competition. You will pay for that, of course. $17.99 is the average price around town, and with the grip and other features, you're going to be adding quite a bit of money. Now, let's take a look here. This is a relatively heavy camera. First and foremost, you'll notice that we have a far and away better screen with much more quality than competing models. Here I am zooming in on one of the cameras, and you can actually see the little dots in the grain there. Not only that, but when you go over into any of the live modes, which enable the camera to see what's in front of it, you're going to be able to focus far better than you would with any of the other cameras. So for macro work and any kind of situation where you actually want to use that screen to focus or judge a shot that you just took, it's just a huge advantage over other models. In addition to that, we have features such as the 51-point autofocus, missing from models like the Canon 40D. We have HDMI out, which enables the camera to connect to a high-definition television and output for the first time a high-quality version of whatever you just shot. And we have user-selectable custom focus adjustment. This is a huge benefit. It'll be great when Canon gets it into all their cameras. This camera can basically adjust for each lens that you have, up to 12 lenses, I believe, so that you can adjust for back or front focusing, which is a problem with virtually every lens in some tiny degree. So, big benefits there. For ISO performance, you're looking at a camera that basically is as good as the 40D or pretty much anything else out on the market. Is it better? That's arguable. I don't really think it matters. They're all so good now and all so close. Big step up from the D200 and the D80 and cameras like that. This is the first time Nikon has a camera to match the Canons in that area, and by adding a superior feature set, we have weatherproofing, for example. We have a faster frame rate of 8 frames per second as opposed to 6.5 or 5 frames per second on the D200. You're just dealing with a much more powerful camera here that can do more, shoot more, get more in focus. It has 3D tracking, for example. The feature set just goes on and on and on. There's no camera that can really match it, but as I said before, you will pay more for this camera than for any of the competing models. And that's something you have to consider. You know, not everybody can spend $2,500 on a camera body with the grip and the extra batteries and so forth and so on. I think that's a reasonable assumption that you're going to pay that kind of money once you're all done. And then you're talking about, you know, upwards of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for whatever you're going to do with lenses. Some people spend $10,000 on lenses. But, you know, most definitely a spectacular camera. And there's the live view mode. Just fantastic. You can manually focus it if you want for really great product shooting. You know, some of these features you won't need. Some of them are, you know, going to be redundant or, you know, things that you're just not ever going to use. And then maybe the 40D is a great deal for you, and you can save some money and put it towards the lenses. So let's take a quick look at the features of the D300 that are not on the 40D, so you can decide for yourself if it's worth spending the extra money for the Nikon. We'll assume that the image quality is so close that that's no longer a factor, and now we're just down to price and feature set. And here's what the D300 has. We have a 3-inch LCD screen that has far more resolution than the Canon version. We have 2 live view modes, handheld and tripod, that are enable you to actually focus, which you can't do in the Canon. We have the HDMI out. We have the weather sealing on the camera, although as some people say, not on the lenses, so you have to, think that you can't protect everything, but at least the camera is somewhat waterproof and sandproof. We also have the custom settings for lenses, so we can fix what's broken as far as lenses that back focus or front focus just a little. We have the 51-point focusing system with the 3D tracking. We have the ability to control flashes wirelessly, built right into the camera, that you're not going to find on the Canon. Ability to go to ISO 6400, ability to use professional battery for extended shooting, a much bigger feature set. So, at 8 frames a second, the D300 is the fastest focusing, fastest shooting DSLR around. The Canon 40D shoots at 14 bits at 6.5 frames per second. That's a small advantage over this camera, but as more and more tests are done between 12 and 14 bit, we see no advantage really that amounts to anything between 12 and 14 bit. And of course this camera can shoot in 14 bit mode, it just slows it down to 2.5 frames per second. So I don't really see that that's an advantage for the Canon that's translated into any real world differences. And the vast majority of advantages this camera has are very usable ones, such as the lens calibration and the superior screen and all of the various features that enable you to customize the focusing, and of course the blazing speed of the camera is just insane that you can shoot action sequences so well with this camera. It's politically incorrect to say that this camera is better. If I go into a forum and say that it is, people get invariably upset. But the truth is that this is a tool, and this tool has, it's like a Swiss Army knife, and this one has more blades. That's really what it comes down to, and all the blades happen to work really, really well as any other camera, and then it has a few extra blades. So if you're a photographer who hasn't invested in a large selection of lenses already, and you're starting out with a new system, and you want the best, you want the most blades, you want the camera that has the corkscrew and the scissors and the built-in flashlight, the Nikon D300 is definitely the camera for you. I think if you pick up both of the 40D, the 5D, which is a much slower camera, and I don't even consider it an option anymore, and you pick up this camera, I don't think you'll find any doubt as to which is the better built, more worked out and more sophisticated model. So thanks very much for listening to this review, and it's definitely biased, but I have used these cameras that I've been discussing, and I think some of you at least will agree, and happy shooting. Thanks very much for watching.